Okay, hi ladies. I usually don't do videos like this, but I wanted to go ahead and um, make this video because I think it's important for people who were affected by Telogen Effluvium to come back and tell about their story of recovery, because I feel like we are always on the blogs and the chats and things of that nature when we're going through the issue, but then once we hit some type of recovery, we just go on with life and then we leave everybody struggling. Now, I responded to a couple of emails from an old chat forum that I guess was on between 2010 and 2013 or 2012 maybe. And every once in a while, still every blue moon around the end of last year, 2016, I still was receiving emails, once every 6 months or so saying, hey, I'm running into this issue and I just kind of wanted to know about a little bit of information. So I want to let you guys know kind of what happened with me and how the recovery process went with me, and that there is hope, and that you don't have to buy all of these hocus pocus products that everybody's trying to push for you, because no matter what you do, if you have Telogen Effluvium, no matter what kind of tree oil or whatever it is they're trying to tell you to buy, that's not the issue. Okay, the issue is that your body is going through something, whether it was initiated by stress or an accident. We all know about Telogen Effluvium, and if you don't, I would encourage you to get with your doctor and let them explain it to you. So let's just start with a couple of things that I found that helped me. I actually have a folder. This is how serious it was for me. I have a folder with all of my medical documents, and I also even made, along with the medical documents, I made a chart of all the different doctors that I went to, and I kept all of my records. Now, this is 2017 now. My first date that I have in here is 10/3 of 2010. Okay, so that just tells you that I kept a hold of this just in case you guys had any questions. And I'm going to tell you exactly what happened to me and how I actually ended up coming out of Telogen Effluvium. First of all, I didn't know I had Telogen Effluvium, okay? I think what set me into the process was I did a juicing fast type of situation for like 5 to 7 days, about 2 months before my hair started falling out. And at that time I was in the financial industry, there was stress, so there was just a number of things. Please don't let anybody tell you that it's because of one thing. If it's postpartum, obviously, that's a known cause of Telogen Effluvium. But if it's something else, stress, whatever, nobody's going to be able to tell you what the situation is. You can go to the doctors and have your hormones checked, and of course have all of your your vitals and everything checked. Make sure your iron is up and your vitamin D and all of that. Please do that, okay? But there's not going to be anybody that's going to be able to tell you the reason why your hair is falling out, why you went into Telogen Effluvium, okay? Just get that out of your mind. But I want to start by telling you the number one thing that helped me, okay? And this is honest to God. You're free to do whatever it is that you feel is working for you. In October, when I first started noticing my hair loss, my hair falling out in chunks, and this was, I think I noticed in the shower. I used to wash my hair, believe it or not, every day or twice a day because I used to run a lot. I was a distance runner. And I started noticing as I was washing my hair that chunks of hair, clumps by the end of the shower, I would have a clump of hair that would be out. And it actually got so bad, guys, that I think that I even went from washing my hair once to twice a day to where it was so psychologically damaging to me that I would wash my hair maybe once every 4 or 5 days, just because I couldn't handle, my hair falling out like that. It was devastating to me at the time. It was absolutely devastating to me. So I understand what you're going through. I absolutely understand what you're going through, but I want you to realize that what you're doing to yourself when you are constantly worrying about it, and I know the doctors have probably told you this, but constantly worrying about it and stressing over it and losing sleep over it and really making yourself sick over it, the only thing that you're doing is reinitiating that TE, okay? I cannot say that enough. You are reinitiating that cycle over and over and over again, okay? And I know to stop worrying about it is easier said than done. So hopefully this video will let you, as a story of a person that had Telogen Effluvium, and eventually came out the other side. Okay. Number one thing I want to tell you is stop going on the blogs. Stop going on the blogs. Ladies, listen, when this first started happening to me in October, my birthday is the middle of October, so I was, let's see, in 2000, I was around 32 or 33, young for my hair to be falling out. Okay, I felt like, what was I going to do? I put a lot of emphasis on my hair. My hair was always, supposed, and please don't look at it right now and see, I actually had it up in a ponytail and stuff, but I want to take it down so that you guys can see my hair and, how you will make it through. Okay, no matter how many days you think that you're going to go bald after 2 years of going through this, I knew I was going to be bald. Okay, I knew that I was diagnosed wrong. I just knew it. That's not the case. Okay. So my journey started in October of 2010, and again, I'm going off my charts. I immediately noticed, I put here that I noticed large amounts of hair falling out. Based on going on the blogs and stuff, I mean, I was so paranoid. I thought that, maybe I had, some type of issue where I was just going to lose all my hair. And the point is that the more you read that and you hear all of the stories that people are telling you and you never hear any positive, there's no benefit out of that. There's none. Don't do it. Everybody who writes me to this day or emails me saying, hey, I just want to check to see how this worked out for you, I tell them the number one thing to do is to stop. Stop Googling. Stop researching. Stop YouTubing. That's the worst thing you can do. You are only hurting yourself more, okay? Because telogen effluvium, believe it or not, besides taking your vitamins, eating right, exercising the appropriate right, just being healthy and good to yourself, there's not going to be much that you can do for telogen effluvium. I know there's shampoos and there's this and there's that. Ladies, I think that people are really cashing in off of our desperation and our need to really have an answer. That's what they're doing, okay? So please, it's bad enough that we're losing our hair. Don't go broke, over products that aren't going to help you do anything, all right? So that was October 3rd. I had noticed that I had a large amount of hair falling out. I began taking ferrosequel, iron pills, 2 tablets, 100 milligram. I researched some more. On October 4th, I began taking 2,000 milligrams of vitamin D. How I got and why I started self-diagnosing, I don't know. At this time, I still hadn't seen a doctor. On October 6th, I went to a dermatologist. She didn't run any tests. She looked at my scalp, stated that my scalp looked fine, and I probably had telogen effluvium. Okay? I mean, at that point, I still had, mind you, this had just started maybe, 3 days. I still had hair. I've always had big, curly hair, frizzy hair. So the good thing about that is that even though I was losing my hair, it still looked to other people that maybe I had a full head of hair. But I know my ponytail was getting thinner. I know that my braids were getting thinner. I just know, you know your body, you know your hair. The very next day, I went to Dr. Barry, well, I'm not going to say any names here because I don't want to get sued, but I went to my gynecologist. He didn't run any tests. I put desperate to see anyone for diagnosis. I basically kept a log as to this. He orally reviewed my medical history and stated that it's probably hormonal. Compared it to postpartum TE and stated that shedding should stop in 2 to 3 months. Recommended prenatal vitamins. Okay, I know y'all heard this before. Also gave a prescription for BC and Loestrol. I think that's what it's pronounced. I can't remember. It's Loestrol. I know you guys already know the terms because you've been researching this. Then I put here, why would I take Loestrol, which has a high androgen BC if my hair is falling out? Did not take. So these are just notes that I'm putting to myself. On October the 7th, I started taking the 1-a-day prenatal vitamins as the gynecologist told me. On October the 11th, now notice this has been, since the day I noticed my hair falling out it's been 8 days. I visited my family doctor. He ran a blood test, orally reviewed my medical history, noted that I was low in iron and low in vitamin D, which I had already self-diagnosed. I was already taking iron and vitamin D. This is the issue that I had. He stated that women shed more in the fall. And I think he kind of compared it to like a dog, right? Well, first of all, dogs shed in the summer. It's because it's hot. Why would I shed in the fall when I need more hair? It just didn't make sense. the point of the matter is that I always felt that people were not taking me serious. It never seemed like it was a serious issue to any of the doctors that I went to. You know, they're like, your hair is falling out. You know, yeah, your hair is, look, your hair looks good. Believe me, you're not going to go bald. That was the number one thing they kept telling me. And it was very, very frustrating. It was frustrating. I was scared. I was nervous. I didn't have any answers. At that point, I was willing to do just about anything. Okay. And, ladies, at that point in time, keratin was just coming on the scene. I know you know about that shampoo and conditioner. I never used it, but they were constantly on the radio saying, "Are you losing your hair? You know, are you know, that whole tactic." Okay, going on October the 10th. So this is after my family doctor, and notice I'm almost going day to day. This is what's. I mean, I'm literally pushing myself into panic. I remember crying. I remember sleepless nights. I remember, to the point, I don't have it on here, but I do remember, for those of you who said that your scalp was burning, I do remember that. I do remember my scalp burning at one point in time. And I think that was probably about a month into it after I had pretty much run myself into, I had just psychologically damaged myself so much by everything that I had read on the internet. It was a really bad time for me. It was a really bad time for me. And at that point, I was younger. I did have a fiance that I had been with for about 5 years or so, who was very supportive. But I think it was hard on him too. I was living in Dallas, and at that time he was living in California. I had just gotten out of the military and had just moved back to Texas. And I know he made a lot of flights out because it was just constant crying, and it was just a tough experience. I know what you're going through. And it will get better. Okay, it will get better. So moving on, the 11th I went to my regular doctor, who basically told me, you know, we're like dogs that shed in the fall, which is completely left-brain. All right, so he said that women shed more in the fall, not to worry because I wouldn't go completely bald, but age is a factor. At this point, I was like 31 or 32. What? I shouldn't be losing my hair, but no diagnosis was given. He said to sit and wait it out. I wasn't even given a diagnosis of TE at that time. I got my lab results back from that blood test that he ran on the 11th. I got the lab results back on the 15th. His nurse called me. It says still showing low iron, but RBC was higher and WBC was lower, so the red blood cell and white blood cell was lower. When asked what that meant, she didn't know. Asked if the doctor recommended anything, she said she didn't think so. No diagnosis. So this kind of goes along the point of people not taking you serious about the issue because it's just your hair, right? You're coming in because, speaking of my hair is looking crazy, but that's okay because I'm trying to talk about a serious situation here and let you know what's going on. Finally, I got to a doctor. She's retired now. She was my gynecologist from 2010 until she retired in 2016. Dr. Jan Gospel was amazing. She was just amazing doctor. Anyways, I went to her after I went to my family doctor. I went to a different, my gynecologist. I switched gynecologists actually. She ran a blood test and she orally reviewed my medical history. This is on the 12th. Okay, now mind you, October 3rd was when I first had this issue, noticed this issue. By October 12th, I had been to one dermatologist, 2 gynecologists, and my family doctor. That just tells you the mindset that I was in. So this gynecologist, Dr. Goss, she orally reviewed my medical history. She explained that with medical everything had been ruled out. So it wasn't anything that, you know, they could see. There wasn't anything that should be causing this, okay? She ran a test for elevated DHEA and testosterone. I got those lab results back on the 13th. Dr. Goss explained that everything came back normal. Also explained that I may be sensitive to normal DHEA and testosterone level. Gave the option of spiral, right? She gave me the option of spiral, but she also told me she believes I should try the normal route of eating right, exercise, and vegetables. Recommended biotin with a vitamin regimen. Let me stop right there. I wish that I had just listened to this gynecologist and just did what she said. I chose not to go on spiral. I chose not to because I think because of the research that I had done, and guys, it was 7 years ago. The research that I had done, I just didn't like the side effects or whatever it was. So I decided not to do spiral. Okay. And I decided that, okay, hey, at least she's listening to me. She was concerned. She said, I do know this happened. She was an OBGYN, so she'd heard of it for postpartum. She's thinking maybe TE, but she's also telling me, listen, this is just going to take time. Listen to your body and do it the right way. But of course, I wanted a quick fix. I didn't want maybe. So 6 days later, it looks like I started biotin, 1,000 milligrams a day. And then I have nothing until, this is on October the 18th, I started biotin. I don't have anything until November 9th. I couldn't really tell you what I was doing in between those times. Maybe I was taking Dr. Goss's opinion. I don't know. I don't know what I was doing to that time. On November the 19th, I started using Nexus Biotin shampoo, and cysteine treatment. Okay, so whatever type of shampoo that was, I started using it. 9 days later or 8 days later, I went out to see a well-known dermatologist in California, Dr. Strick, Richard Strick. I'm sure some of you have probably. Now I was living in Dallas. Let me just go over my mindset again. I was living in Dallas. He didn't take insurance at that time. This was back in 2010. I actually flew out, took a day off, flew out to California early that morning, had my appointment like around 1 or 2, and flew back the same day so I could be at work the next day. So I only took 1 day off to do this. And when I'm talking about frantic mode, just trying to see any doctor who would see me, trying to get an answer, just trying to get somebody to take me seriously. This was it. And thank God I was working at a brokerage firm that had great insurance, so I was really only paying co-pays, except for Dr. Strict. I think it was at that time back then it was like $250 or $300. So it was like $250 to fly out there or $300 to fly out there and back, $250 for him to see me. So just for 1 day, I paid $600 or whatever to go and get this just to go to this doctor who was well known at that time. I don't know if he's still practicing or not, but my experience with him, I'm not going to say it was bad or it was good, okay? I'm not going to tell you if you should or shouldn't see him. A lot of people ask me that question. I will tell you this. I paid like $250, $300. I walked into Dr. Strick's office. He was great, very friendly. Listened to my problems. At least I'm sure he'd heard them the same time. And, he listens to women who have this issue all day, every day, okay? Talked about he was a marathon runner, whatever. I literally sat in his office for about 10 minutes. He put on those big glasses that, where they can look at your hair follicles. He looked at, went like this a couple times with those big glasses, looked down, went like this around here and said, yeah, you have Telogen Effluvium. So, $600 later, he's telling me I have Telogen Effluvium. I'm like, okay. And he, I asked how he knew it was, let's see, these notes are not making sense. I guess I asked how I knew if it was Telogen Effluvium, and he said that my follicles were not miniaturizing. So I guess that's one of the, telltale signs. He told me not to use Rogaine. And at that point in time, like I said, I was a distance runner. I'd been distance running for a long time. When I was in the Marine Corps, I was running marathons, half marathons. He said he doesn't think that running will do any more damage. So at that point in time, I had stopped running. I had stopped doing all of that, guys. My life had pretty much come to a stop. I didn't want to stop. I wore my hair in braids a single braid, for almost a year and a half. I just didn't want to do anything with my hair. I just didn't want to. I couldn't handle the white bulbs. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. The white bulbs coming out of your, the hair and then seeing that white bulb at the end of it. I know exactly what you're going through. So I did that on November the 17th. 2 days later, November the 19th, I went to an endocrinologist. I don't know. She did a blood test, suggested, this is a female doctor, okay, suggested that I cut my shoulder length hair, my hair to shoulder length. I've always had longer hair. My hair to shoulder length to combat hair loss. What? This is the kind of stuff. She tested for a goiter. So again, we're looking for hormonal situations here. and it came back negative. My lab results came back. Everything came back normal. You guys know the routine. Everybody who's going through hair loss, you know the routine. Everything always comes back normal. Yet your hair is falling out of your head in chunks. You want to know what the situation is. Suggested, oh, I already said this. Suggested that I cut my hair up to my ears and see her again in a year. It's just ridiculous. It's just so, the frustration. It's 7 years later, guys, and I'm reading these notes, and I'm just starting to get frustrated all over again. And so it's just unrealistic. That was on the 19th of November. On November 30th, I lowered my vitamin D to 1,000 milligrams amid reports that too much vitamin D is harmful. I guess that was something that had come out. On November 6th, I went back to my family doctor, the one that told me that we shed like dogs in the fall, right? Remember that? He ran a blood test. Another blood test once again stated that hair loss is probably due to spring shed and familial factors. Spring shed. This is in December, okay? Said it was okay to ease back into running. Once again, all the doctors have said, eat right, take your vitamins, lower your stress, and exercise. I haven't been getting any answers except for one answer throughout this whole thing. But here I am still trying, stressing myself out, still trying to find an answer. Okay? So he told me that September 6th. On September 6th, I started running again, 3 miles a day. All right? January 6th. All right? We're going into 2011 now. I started this at the end of December 2010. 2011, I changed from 1 a day prenatal. I decided to stop taking those prenatal. I just started decided to go to the regular 1 a day women's because I was running again, and I felt like the 1 a day women's had more of what an active woman needed. February 24th, I didn't do anything. Now I'm running, I'm exercising, I'm eating good. February 21st, 2011, I went to go see my great gynecologist at the time, Dr. Jan Goss. She ran another blood test. Sent for TB ultrasound to check for PCOS. You guys have heard this too, I'm sure. Or uterine fibroids. This can sometimes be the cause of telogen effluvium. Also took blood for estrogen level. 3 days later, on 2/24, my blood test came back. The estrogen level came back as normal at 74. The normal range is 37 to 138. No PCOS, no uterine fibroids. Recommended Yaz or Spiral for hair loss. If, like birth control for hair loss, if I feel like this is something that I absolutely have to do, if not, again, she told me back in, October, 3 months prior to that, listen, this is what we want you to just eat well, and, you have the option of Spiral, but if not, so here I am coming back to her 3 months later, still panicked, and she's like, listen, if you want to go and you have the Spiral, that's your, that's your decision, but, again, I'm trying to tell you what you need to do. So, again, I said, I'm not interested. This was my notes. She said, I can take Yaz or Spiral for the hair loss. Informed her that I am not interested in birth control. I said I will pick up the Spiral prescription, and then I put not sure if I will take it yet. And just to let you know, I never take Spiral. And I can't remember why I didn't take Spiral. Yeah, I can't remember why. I don't know if it was because of the research that I had done, or I don't have an answer for that. That's the last notes that I have on this. That was about 6 months worth of notes, and I will tell you that my hair fell out all the way through. This started October of 2010, and I will tell you that my hair, I didn't really notice my hair stop falling out until maybe February or March of 2012, okay? February of 2010, or 2011, I was still working in the financial industry from February of 2011 until I left that firm and left that job. I decided to go back to school for an advanced degree and just do that full time. I left the firm in August. So from February to August of 2011, I literally stopped looking anything up and try to focus just on myself. I wore my hair in a braid. I washed it maybe twice a week, and just braided it and rebraided it and just try to really focus on getting myself better. And that included physically and mentally and emotionally after everything that I just the situation that had happened. I started to go for my PhD on in April of 2011, and that not having to go into work in a business suit and have my hair done or whatever, I was able to be a regular college student again, and so I didn't have the pressure of the whole looks situation. And from, I would say, August until I've seen my hair stop falling out as much as it did in about February or March of 2012. I really just said, I mean, honestly, I had got to the point to where I had started styling my hair around, I guess my birthday was in October, around, October. I just started styling my hair because I got to the point where I was like, hey, if I'm going to lose it, I might as well style it while I have it. I mean, that's just, after a year of losing your hair and just, everything, I got just to the point to where I just kind of just accepted it because I just knew I was going to be bald. Ladies, it never happened. Okay. I never went bald. Yes. Now, I mean, my hair is fully thick and, I don't have any, but I do remember going like this. Okay. I do remember going like this and seeing, seeing the part widen. Stuff like that. I mean, I did see it. I saw it through my temples, but let me tell you something. In my family, we have this thing called you guys know the Eddie Munster, the widow's peak or whatever. My grandfather has it. I have it. My dad has it. It's a whatever. But I do remember my temple area shedding. I remember watching all types of videos of people who had, permanent hair loss and just a whole bunch of things. And I honestly believe that kept me, because as we all know, TE runs 2 to 3 month cycle. I honestly believe that the stress and the nervousness and the just making myself sick, literally sick, waking up with butterflies, crying myself to sleep, I honestly think that kept me, that 2 to 3 month process, over and over and over again for, close to 2 years. Going to school and really just being finally saying, it's just, hey, let me tell you this. I ended up starting looking at wigs. I got to the point where I was looking at these wigs online, honey, and I was like, I'm getting ready to rock these wigs. And some of these wigs were off the charts, okay? I actually ordered a couple wigs, 3 or 4. I ended up throwing them away maybe two or 3 months ago when I moved. I actually moved, and I had them in my garage, and it really brought up memories of I ordered these wigs, and I really wasn't ready to unpack them. But I had like the stocking cap, I had like all of that stuff. I think that in a way, even though I never wore those wigs, I honestly think that was a step of me. Even though I was telling myself that I was preparing for something, I honestly think that was my way of really just being like, you know what? If it happens, it happens. I'm going to deal with it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm going to stop worrying about it. There's not anything that I can do. And when you finally understand, ladies, that worrying about this situation, and I know it's hard. I know it's like it's easier said than done, but you're talking to a person that went through it. You have to stop. You have to stop. You have to take care of yourself. And for a little bit, I know you have families, and some of you run ragged. You got 3 kids. You have a husband who works full time. You have 2 dogs and a cat. You're the PTA mom. Now is the time for you to really try to make yourself a priority and really take the time to get yourself together emotionally, physically, and psychologically with the situation. That's the only thing that's going to do it. If not, you are going to keep yourself in this cycle. It's just going to continue. And let me tell you something, ladies, and I will say this because nobody told me this. Telogen Effluvium, even when you come out of Telogen Effluvium, the cycles, you are going to see hair come in, right? You're going to get excited. You're going to have baby hairs, whatever the case may be, and you're going to see that hair fall out. It just happens. Okay, it doesn't mean it's going to happen forever, but I had plenty of cycles where, honey, I was like banging, hey, this hair, it grew back, whatever the case may be, and lo and behold, those baby hairs, whatever the case may be, fell out, and then I got despondent again, and it's just a vicious cycle. I'm making this video because I think it's time for me to to really let people know exactly what happened. I respond to emails from 5 years ago for forums. I don't even remember what forums they are, where they're sending them from. I'm sure I was posting something. I know I posted about my experience with Dr. Strick, and I think that a lot of people are still going to him and they're wanting to know what my experience was from 5 or 6, actually in 2010, 7 years ago. But at this point, I think it's really time for me to share my full experience so that you can see what I went through. I was an extreme case. You've seen how many doctors I went to from October of 2003 to February of 2011. I visited two different dermatologists, 2 different gynecologists, an endocrinologist, my family doctor twice, and one of those gynecologists twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 separate doctor's visits regarding this issue from October of 10 to February of 2011. I was literally just a nutcase with it. And I look back now. Let me share this other point with you guys, and I'm trying not to make this video too long, and I know that those of you who are going through Telogen Effluvium, this 30-minute video is not long enough. I know. I absolutely know, because I could never get enough of somebody who had recovered from it. Let me tell you something. Even to this day, I'd say, even though my hair has grown back, and now I'm in my 40s, and there are times where I'll do something crazy, like we all do as women. There'll be like an event that I have to go to, and I got to lose, 50 pounds in 2 months, or whatever the case may be. So we may be cutting back too much on protein, maybe cutting back on our orange oil. We all do it, okay? And that's an exaggeration, but you know that sometimes we abuse our bodies for beauty standards. Your body is quicker to go into TE than anything else. The difference is that it doesn't become a recurring TE for me. I will notice times where there's different, my hair is shedding a lot more, and I don't know if maybe it's seasonal, or it just happens to be around the time where I know I've done something I shouldn't have been doing, and actually have thrown myself into TE. The difference is that it's regular TE. It happens for 2 or 3 months, and then my hair starts, I'm noticing that I'm holding more hair. And so it's something that you will deal with for a long time, but if you are diagnosed with TE, you will not go bald. Your hair will thin. Your part will widen. It may not be as full as it was when you were 17 or whatever the case may be. But you know what? You're the same person, and you're going to come out of it. You're going to come out of it stronger, and you're going to know how to take care of your body, and you're going to know how to take care of yourself, and you're going to know yourself a lot better. You're going to appreciate yourself a lot more. So I'm going to post this probably in 2 different parts, 1 or maybe even 3 different parts. I don't know, 10 minutes apiece. And I truly hope that somebody out there benefits from this. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. It's something that I feel very strongly about, because I don't like seeing people fleeced. I'm sure there are some things that worked for people, whatever kind of spray-on hair they have, or oils, or peppermint oils, or tea tree oils, or olive oils, or whatever it is that they used. But at the end of the day, the issue is something that's internal, okay? And if you think about it, topical treatments really don't, help with the internal issue, okay? So I hope this helped, and I hope that this is something that you can really take to heart as far as correcting the issue of worrying and being on blogs and searching and just really damaging yourself more than TE could ever damage you. You are damaging yourself more than this particular situation could ever damage you, okay? You're beautiful. And so just always know that. And thanks for listening, and I really hope this helps. I'll answer any questions that come my way. Please give me time to answer the questions. I juggle different hats, but if I get the question, I will be happy to help you and answer any questions that you have. Okay? Thanks.